Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to another tutorial. This is Eric Morales from Eric Morales Photography, and here I am with something that I discovered in those last few days about some editing and how to fix and tweak a certain things so you could improve your workflow. And I'm gonna get right to it. As you can see, I got a raw image of these candles here that I did the other day. And as you can see, my white balance is way off. And what I'm going to show you and what I'm going to fix, because I got the mixed lighting, I got some tungsten lights right here in this lamp with this pole right here, and I also have the light from the window. So I'm gonna show you how you could improve some of this by tweaking your Photoshop. Now we are here on Camera Raw, and what are we going to do? We're going to click in this hyperlink down here. Now you can see a few things here. What we're going to do, we're going to work with a ProPhoto RGB, and the actual, when you first open this, it's set to 8 bits. I want you to change it to 16 bits per channel. And then the color space, you got many different color space, but what we are going to do, the actual default is either sRGB or Adobe RGB 1998. So I want you to change it to ProPhoto RGB. And then on the output sharpening, we are going to click on the sharpen, and you're going to set it to screen, and the amount, so you could see the details a lot better, change it high. And here's the nice thing. We're going to open it as a smart object. So if you click this option, automatically Camera Raw will save that for you. And what we're going to do, I'm not going to concentrate into too many details of colors. So what I just want you to do, so you can follow along with this tutorial, just find yourself an image, do this setup that I just told you, and then once you're done, click here in auto. Now you're going to see that everything gets, kind of overexposed a little bit, but that's not going to matter because, what I'm going to show you, it's a pretty nice, sweet trick. So let's go ahead. You see it already says open object instead of open image. So it automatically is going to open it as a smart object in Photoshop. Now, if you have watched my previous tutorials, yes, use embedded profile, yep, do that. So now what we are going to do, first off, we are going to go click on the image and then go to channels, and then press Control and click on the RGB channel. That automatically is gonna pick some of the highlights, and what we are going to do, we're going to balance some of these, highlights and shadows. So once you click that, you're gonna get something like this. You go to Image Adjustments and Shadows and Highlights. So it automatically, the shadows and highlight plugins, it balance out that relationship between the highlights and the shadows. You could decrease some of the highlights. You see how the image is getting a little darker because it's balancing out that between the shadow and the highlight. So we're going to click OK. And the nice thing about this, you are fully in control of this image because you're doing it as a smart filter. So whatever filter you use, it automatically is going to go into this smart object. So you don't have to keep opening layers and filters and type of filters. And it's non-destructive. As you can see, you could click the filter off. You could click it on, off. You see how it's nicely well balanced now? So what we are going to do next, and it's up to you. I'm not sure if you possess a Image Normac portraiture plugin. But if you do, it's a great tool. If you don't, it's still good. What we're going to do, we're just going to set it to enhanced tones. You don't have to worry about a thing because everything is getting applied to this mask here. So just press OK. So right now the plugin is applying some of the fixes to the tones. See, it's looking a lot better already. So I want you to close this. Let's close the mini bridge. Now that you're here in this image, I don't know if you watched some of my previous tutorials. I think I showed you how to use the threshold to improve some of the white balance or to improve the tonality of the image. So that's what we are going to do. So just pick your sample tool and we are going to click on threshold. So right here all the way to the right, and we are going to sample on the dark spot, shadow, or completely black, and then we're going to click onto the other side to click on a white. So now that you got this set, now what we are going to do, we are going to pull off levels. But once you put levels, and here comes the nice trick I just learned over this last few days. Before you hit anything on levels, go to this arrow right here. You see where it says auto options? I want you to click on there. Now this is what you are going to see. The default on the levels is actually this. It automatically is going to mess around with the brightness and contrast. And you know, that'll be the result that you are going to get. But you got this other algorithms within levels that actually helps you work a lot better with levels. So if you click on this monochromatic, you see the big change. And then you got this option, which you don't have on the brightness and contrast, that helps you improve some of these neutral midtones, which is where mostly everybody struggles when they're editing. It's always the midtones. So I'll say I'm going to go with enhance per channel contrast, and we are going to snap those neutrals. Or actually, I think I'm going to go with the monochromatic, because I'm getting better colors with the monochromatic. You see, if you look at the per channel contrast and if you look at the monochromatic, big difference. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to press OK. And we're going to do the usual. You're just going to pick the sample from the levels and you're going to click on the dark spot. And then we're going to grab this highlight and we're going to click on this highlight dot right there. And automatically you went from this to this. It actually helps you improve a lot better on the colors. But if you still want to mess around with it for a little bit, I mean, besides the fact that if you go from, if I turn this off, you see levels are still there. Now, because I use the shadow highlights and the portraiture plugin, you can see that this area right here is kind of blown out. But you see, I helped fix that with the shadows and highlight features that I show you. Now you see a little bit more definition of the shade right here on the window. And this is all a non-destructive process, which is really, really nice, and it's a big advantage. You know, so once you get to this point, I mean, it's pretty nice and neat that you could fix these things automatically quick. And I mean, we did what, like 2-3 steps, which is awesome for your workflow. I mean, right now you could keep working on this image however you want. One of the things that I like to do, I like to add a little bit more contrast and more definition to certain things. So what we're going to do, we're going to press Control Shift Alt E to make a stamp. So now we got a stamp right here. Now what I want you to do, I want you to change the blend mode to soft light. Soft light is going to add more contrast to the image. But what we're going to do with this, we actually are going to mask it out, because you don't want this in your whole image. So I'll say add a little bit more contrast to the chandeliers right here. So we're going to invert the mask. And we are going to paint over these chandeliers with a soft brush on white. I'm going to make the brush a little bigger. And we are going to start painting on the chandelier, the candle right here, just to add a little bit more contrast. And what happens with this contrast, it's that it also adds a little bit more definition to your image. Let me just make this a little. Then you could only attack the areas that you want that contrast to be applied to, which is the beauty of working with a mask. We're just going to keep painting and keep painting. You see that there? I went a little bit off. You could tell on the. So most likely, you're just adding contrast. That's all we're doing. We're doing nothing else. Just adding a little contrast. Maybe add a little bit more contrast to the sofa right here. So let's make the brush a little bigger. But you see, by adding contrast, I could see some color cast from the wall spilling into the sofa. So what I suggest, just go back and leave it the way it is. Don't add that contrast, because then it's going to show that orangey color on there. So most likely, probably, add a little bit more contrast to the pole right there. And just so you could see the difference, we're going to toggle on and off. See that? Adding contrast adds more definition to your image. And because it's on a mask, it's completely non-destructive. It's right there. Now if you want to add more definition, you could make another stamp. So Shift Control Alt plus E, and then we're going to change the blend mode to highlight. Now what we'll do, we'll lower the opacity on it. And the same thing, we're going to mask it out. This time I'll probably leave this one on white. And then what we'll do, we'll add a little bit more definition. We'll hide some of this right here. Probably this right here by the window. Right now, I'm not shooting for perfection. I just wanted to show you the technique, which is pretty neat. See how you actually just get this right here, probably here. You are fully in control, because everything you're doing it in adjustment layers. So you are in control. So I mean, going from this to this, it's looking a lot better. It's still looking a little bit more contrasted, but like I said, I'm not shooting for perfection here. I just wanted to show you this technique. I mean, just by going to levels and changing the auto options, it actually helps you to take control of the colors per channel, and also working with a smart object and how you could apply some of these filters onto the smart object. And you are fully in control. Like, for example, if you want to, change the shadow highlight relations, you just double click here and you are in control. You didn't have to do it all over. So if you want to kind of just make it brighter or make it darker, see that you're in full control of your image by using a smart object, which is a great way and a great tool to do things. So we're just gonna wait for the smile filters to render. Computer's kind of slow, so just bear with me. So here it is. We actually improved this image just in a simple few steps with a simple few tricks, non-destructively. And I mean, like I said, I'm not shooting for perfection, but if you want, you can still, play around with this image however you want, or your own image. But I just wanted you to learn the just a few simple tweaks and your levels or your curves, or just play around, look around your plugins, see what they do, options, show clip in black and whites, things like that. Just play around, because there's many ways, and the best way to learn a lot of this stuff, if you actually go to lynda.com, they have a lot of tons of tutorials. If you go to Adobe TV, that also has a lot of videos and how to deal and manage colors on your images. Right now, if you want, you can still use the brightness and contrast, add a little brightness and contrast. But what we'll do, we'll change the blend mode to luminosity. Now with the luminosity, it gives you a bit of control of certain things. You can make your image lighter, darker, without messing the rest of the colors. You see? Take the whole contrast off, brightness, just play around. But you see, if you actually had this set to normal, this is what happens. Blown out, blown out, blown out. But right now, just to show you, I don't want to leave that brightness and contrast. You could also improve the vibrance, in the luminosity blend mode, and kill some of this, really, really red colors in the background, because we're getting a lot of spill. So cranking up the vibrance gives you a little bit more definition into your image, and things like that. Now when you actually take a picture like this, and you have like this mixed lights, I got some Thuxon lights here, and then you have the natural light coming into the windows. It could be challenging, especially trying to get your white balance right and stuff like that. But you see, the good thing with Photoshop, you're in full control of fixing that little problem. So right now, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you learned something, and I'm really glad that you actually watching my videos, and I will try to keep making more videos as I learn stuff and I share with you guys. And until next time, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. My name is Eric Morales, so I'll see you next time.